Hey there guys, I'm SonicGhost, and today I'm here to answer all the questions that you left me on my 4-year anniversary video. First off, I want to thank everyone who has left me a question on that video, greatly appreciate it. And today I'm going to be answering all the questions that you have for me. Starting off here, we have 3 questions from Proto Steel Goal. His first question says, who's your favorite Sonic character besides Sonic? And honestly, my favorite character in the series outside of Sonic would be Shadow. I've always liked that character. I've always liked the big backstory that Shadow's had with Maria and his past events on Space Colony Arc. I always just liked how his gameplay was basically the same as Sonic, so if you enjoyed that kind of gameplay from Sonic but you couldn't play as him, then you will be playing as Shadow. And like I said, his backstory really helped make the character. That's why I really did enjoy Shadow the Hedgehog when I first played the game. So the answer to that question is Shadow. I really like the character and I always have. His next question here says, is there any one project of yours that you would like to redo? And there are many different projects I toss up in my head of thinking, should I go back to this? Should I redo this said game? And the one that comes to mind that I most definitely want to revisit sometime in the future would be Sonic Generations. I would love just to go back to that game and do another playthrough if they give it better justice. Now, as you guys know, I did do a blind Let's Play of the game when it first came out in 2011, and I did enjoy the playthrough, but looking back at it, there was a lot of stuff that I missed in that dang playthrough. I didn't show off a majority of the stuff in the game. Like, for example, I didn't really look at all the different powers that you unlock. I didn't really go through showing where any red rings are, even though I got them all off screen. And I didn't go over all the challenges there, all the missions. So there's a lot of stuff that I really glanced over, and I know that if I go back to look at that game again in the future, then I'd be able to just go through, show off everything, give it the justice that it deserves. And now that I have both the PC version of the game and a way to record it properly, I would just love to go back to it, record it off the PC version for the convenience sake alone, and now be able to go and show every single last thing that the game has to offer, because I can do that now. When I first played the game, I couldn't really do that, and I can understand people's opinion of saying since it's a blind playthrough, we can understand, but when I look back at the project, I'm just not as happy with it, so I would most definitely go back and do another playthrough of Sonic Generations. I would still keep the blind Let's Play around, but I would have a separate playlist for it just for those people who want to go and see my first time playing the game. But I would go back and do an entire playthrough of the game, 100% completing it. But outside of that one game, I can't really think of anything else off the top of my head that I know for a fact I want to go back and redo. I look back at some of my old Let's Plays and I think to myself, I would like to go back to this, but it's very good to just have this one playthrough because it was a very good walkthrough or has a lot of memories. So if I have that kind of game in mind, I might go back to it with a re-release of the game, say Ocarina of Time. I might go back to the game using Ocarina of Time 3D sometime in the future, if I have a way to record it, that is. But as of right now, I don't really have any other plans to go and redo another project that I've done in the past. And Proto Steel Goal's last question here says, is there any game not released yet that you'd like to do an LP of? This question's a little tricky for me because the only game I really had off the top of my head in mind that I was wanting to do some kind of videos with was the newest Smash Brothers game on the Wii U. And that's what that First Impressions series is for. That's me just playing the game for the first time, giving my first impressions of it, and sharing my first time playing the game here on YouTube. I would love to go back and do a full Let's Play of the game sometime in the distant future, but it's not something I really have planned. Most of the games I have on this channel I go through and do Let's Plays of are all games I've played hundreds of times before in the past, whether it be an old game from my childhood, like a game from the early 2000s or late 90s, or it could be something a little more recent, like maybe 2-3 years recent, something like that. But I tend to avoid doing a Let's Play of a newer game unless I did a complete playthrough of it, like just explored every nook and cranny of the game, and really enjoyed it so much I know I can play through it, commentate over it just fine, and be able to show off everything in the game that I want to show off. That's why I don't do Let's Plays of brand new games when they first come out, because it's really hard for me to think of stuff to say for my first time playing a game in a video, since I don't know what to expect. and I don't want to force commentary for that reason. So that's why I don't really do that many Let's Plays of new games. This first impression stuff seems to be the best way to go about making content for a game, but I'm not sure if I want to do a Let's Play of it just yet. But I have been trying something new of streaming a first time playthrough of a game on my Twitch channel. For example, not too long ago, I just played through Freedom Planet, and I streamed that on my Twitch channel, so that I've been uploading here on YouTube. And if you watch those streams, you'll see why I don't really do Let's Plays of brand new games right away, because I just try to experience the game for the most part by myself, so I don't really say too much because of that. But I hope that was a good enough answer for that question. But that's all the questions I have from Proto Steel Goal. The next set of questions I have here is from Super Shadow FG, and his first two questions I'm going to go ahead and merge together because they're basically the same question, just a little bit different. So Super Shadow FG asks, what is your favorite solo/co-op LP that you ever did? I have a couple of playthroughs that I just really enjoyed. Starting off, I really did enjoy my Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time Let's Plays. I thought those were good for my first time getting into this said hobby. I did enjoy my Twilight Princess. If you notice by now, a lot of my favorite playthroughs from this channel I've done have been Zelda related. I just felt like the Zelda games just worked the best in terms of structure for these Let's Plays. They just turned out to be the best, and I noticed a lot of people really do like the Zelda Let's Plays, which I can understand why. But getting outside the Zelda series, I really did enjoy how both Sonic Adventure and Star Fox Adventures went through, because those two games I put a lot of work into, and I really enjoyed how they turned out, especially because they had a lot of gameplay, then cutscene moments, and it just worked out nicely, especially in Star Fox Adventures. So I really did enjoy that one. And also, I did really enjoy, in terms of your second question, what's your favorite co-op LP that you ever did? I did enjoy pretty much all the co-op LPs I've done. If you want to say my favorite co-op LP that I've done on this channel, it would be Outland with my friend Jared, because I felt like that Let's Play as a whole was just a lot of fun really to put together, and it was entertaining just to see how both Jared and myself commentate with each other and play through the game. We just have very similar commentary styles and very similar senses of humor, so we just work really well as a team for recording stuff like this, and I just felt like the Outland playthrough was a really fun time. I did also really enjoy the Gunstar Heroes co-op that I did with my friend Matt. That was a lot of fun to do. And if you want to count the races that I've done, both the Sonic Adventure and the Metroid Fusion races that I've done on this channel were a lot of fun to put together too. A lot of work, mind you, but they turned out good in the end, and that's what I'm happy about. But if you want to just count co-op LP that I've been a part of as a whole, honestly at this point it'd probably be the Majora's Mask Let's Play that I'm currently doing with my friend Etern Unique, because the amount of work that we both put into this said project, it just turns out so good in my opinion, because you're seeing two separate people's playthrough of a game. One person who knows the game inside and out and is showing off different glitches and exploits just to really dig into the game and show you everything that it has, while you're seeing another one who has played this game since their childhood really, and has been just showing off how you play through a game, just going from start to finish, going through the game completely. And I like how just it contrasts with each other and it just works out great because of it. Our two different gameplay styles actually mix perfectly together, and I've really enjoyed that so far. So if I want to say favorite co-op that I've done that's outside of this channel, it'd be that one. But if it's just something that I put on this channel, SonicGhost 64, then it would be Outland. Now the next question here that Super Shadow FG asks is one of the hardest questions to answer honestly, and it's, what's your favorite game of all time? I honestly can't give you a definite answer to this question, because my favorite game, it really just depends on my mood. If I'm in a mood for a platforming game, then I'll go play something like Super Mario 64, Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Generations. If I'm in a mood for a good action-adventure game, I'll go play something like Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask. If I'm in a mood for a good exploration game, I'll probably play something like Metroid Prime. It really just depends on my mood, and I can't really say what's my favorite game, period, because of that. Sometimes I move for this genre, and I think that this game is my favorite one. Sometimes I move for something different, and my answer just changes because of that. I can't really say what my favorite game is because of that. And I get this question every now and again from people, and it's really hard to answer this. If I had to just pinpoint my favorite game, it'll depend on my mood, and as of right now, my favorite game that I've been playing through has probably been Majora's Mask because of how much time I put into it from the past few months. And right now, it's kind of pushed its way back up to being my preferred Zelda game since I flip-flop between Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask as my favorite in the series. So like I said, it's going to depend on my mood, and as of right now, it's a Majora's Mask mood. But the next time you ask me that, it could be something completely different. But Super Shadow FG's last question here is, what made you start this hobby, and who inspired you? Well, let's go ahead and start off with how I started this hobby first, because that has a bit of a backstory to it, honestly. Originally, I wasn't really going to go into the world of Let's Plays. In fact, when I had an idea of what I really want to make videos of, I didn't know what Let's Plays were at the time. I wanted to honestly start with my YouTube channel making reviews, and I tried doing that once before. I tried making a review of a game I was playing at that time, and I just couldn't do it. There was a lot of work that went into putting together the video, and I had a very hard time recording video game footage. So I put that idea on the back burner for a while, and then after time I started to learn about what Let's Plays were. One of the people who I was watching, who was a reviewer and who also makes top 10 lists, he goes by the name CJ001, and one day I saw in my sub box that he uploaded this video called Time to Play Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and I was curious because I didn't know what this was, and I watched that, and that pretty much introduced me to the world of Let's Plays, because his Time to Play series is basically a Let's Play series but with a different name. So at the time, I was still watching some more of those Time to Plays, and I was enjoying what I was watching, and all of a sudden, I just saw this one channel that caught my eye in someone's channel box. I believe it was Nightwing's list of channels he was recommending on his channel, and I saw like this one person on there by the name of Koshi Sushi, and I just was really curious because I didn't know what this channel was about. So I decided to click on it, and I saw he was doing a Let's Play of Pokemon Coliseum at the time. So I started to watch that, and I was really getting into it, and from there I started to watch other Let's Players like Chugga Conroy, Josh Jemson, Proton John, Nintendo Capri Sun, and I was just getting more into the hobby from there. And I just decided at that point, because I was having a hard time trying to make video game reviews of my own because I couldn't really structure it properly, it was hard for me to put the videos together, I decided to try Let's Playing, and at the time, I got my old TV tuner to work on my computer and was able to record footage from my game consoles. So I decided to do a Let's Play of Majora's Mask, and it just evolved from there into what it is today. Now, as to who inspired me in this said hobby, if I had to say like one person that basically inspired my style of making these videos, it would be Chugga Conroy, honestly. I don't really have this one set person that inspired me to start this hobby per se, but if I had someone to say who helped structure these videos, it would be Chugga, because his videos are pretty much laid out like a walkthrough, where you're going through the game, you're talking about things in detail, showing off every nook and cranny that the game has to offer. And I honestly like that style of making these Let's Play videos, so I just started to do the same for my own stuff. And it works out great because that's the best kind of commentary I can give. Just explaining everything about these games and showing off every nook and cranny of it that I can do. And just like I said, watching his content really just helped inspire the style of making these videos I have, the commentary style, how I play the games and present them. That's pretty much it. He didn't inspire me to start making Let's Plays, but he sure as heck helped structure these said videos. And I greatly appreciate all the videos that he puts out. He has a lot of great work, and if you haven't checked out the guy by now, then at least give one of his videos a watch, because they're good watches, especially if you're really wanting to just go through a game and get some help completing it. Now our next question comes from a friend of mine, Matsubi Adventures. He asked, what was the biggest highlight that you can think of out of the 4 years of doing this hobby? Now, it's really hard to think of one said moment that really sticks out, because I can name a few. I can name the one time where I was trying to collect the Skulltula in Ocarina of Time. I grabbed him with the hook shot, but I got hit and my animation just kind of stopped. And I just found that scene to be really hilarious at the time. And looking back at it, it's still really funny just to see Link just stop in his motion while collecting the Skulltula. That was a pretty good moment right there. The moment where the big red man thing started between myself and my friend Jarrett from the Outland playthrough, where I got killed by one of the enemies, and it was in the final world of the game where everyone was swapping back and forth between the light energy and dark energy, aka blue and red, and the guy was blue. Jarrett was coming back to save me, and he was like, nah, I can't have that. He turns red. It's like, there we go, and then he kills the guy, and I enjoyed that, as well as the moment where we were trying to fight this big boss enemy in the final area, but I got killed and knocked back past the guy, and Jarrett couldn't do anything to save me because I was past the boss, and I had to rely on Jarrett to kill the guy in time and run over to revive me. That was a pretty good moment right there as well. But those are the ones that really stick out in my mind. I'm trying to remember some of the other stuff, but most of the things that happen in my Let's Plays, I try to plan out. So it's really hard to think of like this big moment that just is really substantial, essentially. Those are probably the biggest highlights I can think of from this hobby. I guess one of the other things I can say that's a highlight, but it's not in terms of what happened in the videos, is just what happened in my life because of the hobby, meeting all the people that I did. I really enjoyed just commenting back with some of the people who've been commenting on my videos for quite some time, and I enjoyed just meeting all the friends that I did, like the person who left this question, for example. I'm glad I met Matt because of this hobby. And I'm glad I met my friends Amber, Jared, Marley, and such. Like, I'm happy that this hobby just led to me meeting a lot of great people. And that's probably, if I had to say, the biggest highlight that I can think of out of the 4 years of this one hobby, I would say just meeting everyone who I did meet just from making these Let's Play videos. That's probably the biggest highlight that I can really think of. Because it's the best thing, honestly, that came out of this hobby. If I decide just to stop doing this right now, quit, shut down my channel, I would still have all these friends that I met from this said hobby in my life. And I really appreciate that. If I didn't get into making these Let's Play videos, I wouldn't have met the people who I did from making these videos. It's as simple as that. I'm glad I was able to do so. That's probably the biggest moment that I can think of that just really hits home to me from this hobby. I know that sounds sappy, but that's really how I feel about it. And now our last question comes from a good friend of mine as well, Etern Unique. She asks that if I didn't get into the part of gaming on YouTube, like making Let's Plays, walkthroughs, and other things like that, what kind of videos do you think that you would be making on YouTube today? Now, like I said earlier, I wasn't planning on making Let's Plays originally. I was planning on making reviews. So that'd probably be one thing, whether it be just a product review on something, if we want to say something that's non-game related, or if I just still try to make game reviews, then that would be something I would try to do. I have done product reviews in the past. I've done reviews of adapters that I've used or a controller that I bought, and I just decided, you know what, let's try a review on this. So I did that. And also the Wii U impressions and unboxing that I've done not too long ago, that's something different that I honestly enjoyed, so I probably would try stuff like that as well. But honestly, the other thing I would have tried to do, and it's something that I did back in high school with a few friends of mine, maybe try to make some kind of comedy sketches to put on this channel, like little one-off videos that would just be of a certain scenario. Just think of it kind of like a scene from Saturday Night Live, for example, if you've seen that TV show. That's pretty much what I would have tried to do. So, for example, I would have just maybe done a skit, like take one of the skits that I did over on the Crazy Cholo Crew channel. Say the skit that we done that we called How to Get a Job, or how we were saying in the video because of the Spanish tone we had, how to find a job. I would try to do something like that, where it'd just be a funny little joke tutorial, how you get a job in today's world. Stuff like that I would have been interested in doing, but honestly I'm not sure if I would try to do more of that stuff now. If I tried to do any skits of my friends, then that would still happen on that said channel we made for it, but that's not something that we have planned at all, since all of us live in different places now. It's really hard to make those skits, unfortunately. But for my own channel, I do want to try to do more impressions of said games or consoles, because I find that that's some good quality videos I've been making as of late. It shows my opinions on this stuff. It's like a mini review in a sense. So stuff like that I would like to try in the future. And another thing is, if I can try to go back to reviewing stuff, I would like to do that, but it's not a guarantee, because when I originally thought of making reviews, it was easier for me to be more critical with a game, but today I feel like if I made a review or something, I would be praising it more than hitting home on the negatives. Take a look at that Wii U impressions video I made, and now really show it right there, because I said a lot of good things about the console, and I talked briefly about the negatives that I have with it, but not nearly enough that can show like your true opinion about the console. So I'm not sure how well that would work for me in a review sense, but like I said, I would like to do more impressions, and I would like to try to do something with reviews in the future, just to try it once again. Probably a hardware review, because that seems to be the easiest thing for me to do. But that pretty much, it's more of a detailed way of answering that question. I kind of went above and beyond there. Do apologize, but that pretty much can answer any other questions that could stem from that. Like, what else would I like to do on my channel outside of gaming, or any other things besides Let's Plays, I should say. But that's all the questions that I have here from my 4-year anniversary. Once again, I thank everyone who has left a question for me in the 4-year anniversary video. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope you got the answers that you deserve. So with that said, thank you all for supporting this channel for 4 long years. And with that all said, I'll see you guys next time.